Hey guys, it's me. I'm back with another commentary. This time I'm doing a commentary on the short film Decisions, which sadly never actually aired on YouTube due to copyrights. Well, not really copyrights, it was more a deal where when I tried to upload it to YouTube, YouTube muted the audio on me, so I had to make it a blip exclusive. So I'm going to try to upload it to YouTube this time, but if it fails, then I'll just have to do another Commentaries on Media Slayer Productions gig. Okay, this is the second of 3 short films that are a follow-up to episode 55 of FanFic Critic. In episode 55 of FanFic Critic, as a quick refresher for those who didn't see, Susan does a FanFic Critic freakout list about the FanFic Critic without her consent, and when the critic finds out about it, she kills Susan. Yeah. In Consequences, the FanFic Critic brings Susan back to life, and Susan has a kinda interesting reaction to being killed and stuff, and she runs off, thus leading into this short film here. Now, one of the things I really liked about this short film, right here, the music from the opening is still playing, and is kinda setting a mood for how the FanFic Critic herself is feeling at the moment. You see, she kinda feels like crap, because not only does she miss Susan, she also feels horrible about what she did. She killed someone. And even though she brought them back from the dead, she still killed them and possibly traumatized them. And now Susan's gone, and she doesn't know where she is. For all she knows, Susan could have gotten killed or something, or just, I don't know, something might have happened, so she's missing her, she feels bad about what she did to her, and she's probably also worried about her too, if you know what I mean. So this whole bit where she looks over to the bed and sees Susan sitting there, it's supposed to be a deal where obviously Susan isn't really there, she's just kind of hallucinating her. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of understandable. She feels bad about what she did, and I think this works really good, especially with the music playing in the background. Yeah, this originally was extended a little more, but because I had to time it with the music, I kind of had to end right there. So a week has passed, and we get to see Susan for the very first time. Oh man, I have to admit, I can't watch this with a straight face when we first see Susan emerge from the closet. Look at her, she looks like a goofball. And, you wouldn't think that was Susan. You would think that was like some other character, possibly the crappy author, because she kind of looks like her a little bit. But no, it's supposed to be Susan. And this is what Susan looks like when she's crazy. Especially that wide-eyed look right there. I had a lot of fun with this, though. This was actually filmed... I think this was filmed the same day that Consequences was filmed, actually. Or some of this footage. I think the later FanFic Critic footage was filmed the day after, but I think all the FanFic Critic footage in the beginning and all the Susan footage was all filmed during the time I filmed Consequences. Because originally Consequences and Decisions was supposed to be one big short film, but I ended up splitting it up, which I'm kind of glad I did, because it had a better flow having it split between the two. So, as you can see right here, Susan is kind of tormented, because she's still afraid of the critic, and she's still traumatized by what happened to her, but at the same time, she's kind of... I'm not sure if I should say she's forgiven the critic or not, but she doesn't appear to be mad anymore. She's trying to make excuses for her. So it's kind of weird. And you probably also notice that Susan's not acting like the Susan that we all know and love. She's acting a little off. In fact, she's kind of acting crazy. Yeah. So, as you can see, Susan has been affected greatly by what has happened to her. And you'll probably notice right here, I kind of, I think it's right here, perhaps? Yes, right here, I kind of moved my head to the side. The reason why I did that was because I had an idea of the critic entering. You can hear the door opening right there, and I had to move my head over to the side so you guys wouldn't be able to see the door in the background. Because if you guys could see the door and hear the door open, but you don't see it open, it wouldn't have worked. Yeah. So, the two see each other face to face for the first time in a week.
Hello.
Susan's looking kind of freaked out, and the critic looks well, let's take a look. Yeah, the critic looks kind of emotionally drained. Like, she doesn't really have much of a reaction to see Susan sitting there. But, you know, you're assuming that she was surprised, but because she's kind of in a depressed state at the moment, she's not really having too much of a reaction. And she's probably figuring that maybe she's hallucinating. But now she kind of sees that, yeah, that is Susan, okay. And she's finally seeing the effect that her actions have had on Susan. Because as you can see, this isn't logical, everything is there Susan anymore. No, it's crazed, insecure, confused Susan. Again, this was all improv. I filmed all the Susan bits first, and obviously filmed all the FanFic Critic bits later. It was interesting to do. Pretty much like I did in the last short film, I just watched all the Susan bits again and just had the FanFic Critic react. And I think I'm not sure if you guys thought I did a good job with this, but I thought I did a pretty good job having the critic react to what Susan was saying. Some bits in the end could have been done a little bit better, but I thought most of this was pretty good. And you know, seeing with Windows Movie Maker, you can't really do a cloning effect. The best you can do is just show one person on one side and one on the other. I can't, I mean, I do have a new program now, but I have to get used to it first before I can start using it for editing. But I'm thinking with that program I might be able to have it in the future where you can see both the FanFic Critic and Susan in the same shot. That would be great, because I would love to do a co-review with Susan. That would be very interesting. It's me times two, except one's British and kind of quiet acting, and the other's nutty. Ah, that'll be very hard to pull off, though. I might have to script for that one. I don't think I can do improv for that. I don't know. I might be able to pull it off. If I could pull off doing the Sin Dragon Saga without a script, I think I can pull off doing a Susan and FanFic Critic review together without a script. Okay, back on the subject of this video. The critic is starting to let Susan know how she's feeling, and she's apologizing to her for what she's done. And as you can see, she does clearly feel bad about what she did. I mean, you can tell by her body language. And that's what I really liked about these short films, because it shows that the critic isn't an evil person, like she kind of came across at the end of episode 55. Like, she does care and stuff, and she obviously does feel bad about what she did. I mean, if she didn't feel bad, she probably wouldn't have brought Susan back to life in the first place. She probably just would have left her dead, but no, she brought her back. And she assumed that things would be fine and dandy because, you know, the critic herself has been killed before, so she figured that Susan would be okay. But you have to remember, the FanFic Critic and Susan are two completely different people. They're two completely different personalities. The critic is already insane, so she wouldn't have to worry about going nutty over being killed. And also, when the critic killed herself, it was self-inflicted. Susan, on the other hand, no. Susan was, let's just say, her life was forcefully taken from her. So, yeah. We never actually saw anything, but you guys can just let your imaginations go wild on that. Yeah. Sometimes improv can lead you guys into little things like this, but I think it kind of works. So Susan leaves. This was originally more extended, where I had Susan kind of, after she gets up, she kind of like readjusts her coat so her neck isn't exposed. I should have kept that in, but I forgot to film the FanFic Critic's reaction to all that, so that's why this ending seems a little rushed.
That's wonderful.
And also, you know, some inconsistencies, because when Susan was in the shot, it was clearly nighttime. You couldn't see light coming from the window, and the bed was made. And in this shot, it's clearly daytime, and the bed isn't made. So here's the plot point where the FanFic Critic discovers that she still has Dragon Balls, and she decides to use the Dragon Balls again. This bit I had fun doing.
I want to make another wish. Didn't you just grant a wish a week ago?
Pretty much I just filmed the critic doing this, and when I did the voice for the Dragon Balls, I just rewatched this footage and just had this playing on mute, or had headphones on and just was rambling, so I thought it worked out pretty good. And I noticed that the Dragon Balls voice was a little different in this short film, because in the first short film it was more serious sounding, and this one's kind of like, oh, well, didn't you just grant a wish a week ago? Yeah, it worked. And yeah, so the fanfic critic solution to the problem is to erase Susan's memory of the incident altogether.
All there is to do now is wait.
Yeah, I probably should have just had the episode end right here, but I wanted to kind of have, you know, Susan walk in and stuff and have them chat a little bit and have the critic act a little iffy, if you know what I mean, because Susan doesn't know what happened, but the critic knows. It's not like the critic erased her own memory of it either. No, she remembers, but Susan doesn't. And wow, Susan magically changed clothes. It doesn't make any sense, actually. You'd think she would be wearing the same clothes, but I don't know. I guess because she's not crazy anymore, she wears normal clothes. So, yeah, this whole bit was interesting. I'm glad I've gotten better at the British accent, because I thought the accent was pretty good in Consequences and most of Decisions, but this bit right here, the accent sucks. It's still a huge step up from the pilot episode of Sequel Critic. My god, the accent was barely there. And I think I've gotten pretty good at it. I mean, you guys haven't heard the recent accent yet, but you'll be hearing it soon, seeing I'm airing 3 episodes a week, so it won't take long to catch up with what I've filmed recently. I've been practicing. I really have been practicing. But anyway, Susan is kind of oblivious. I mean, she notices that something's a little different about the critic, but, you know, is just thinking, oh, that's probably just a bad fanfic, yada yada. And then so she leaves. Critic watches her go, looks a little uneasy, and then foreshadowing right here.
She can't ever find out what I did to her.
Yeah. After the critic says that you guys all know that Susan's gonna find out, and that's what the third short film is about, so stay tuned for the next commentary, which will be on Confessions, the third and final short film involving the whole Susan's death story arc. Till then, I will see you all later.